online, on digital, and on 88 to 91 FM. BBC Radio 2. Russell Brand.
That was a Buzzcock. Something's gone wrong again. You're listening to Russell Brand on Radio 2. I'm here with Matt Morgan. All right, Matthew.
Hello, Russell.
You're in charge of those switches, I suppose, are you? That makes the radio work.
Yep.
Trevor Locke's here as well. Hello, Trevor.
Good evening.
What is it that you do here exactly?
I don't know. I'm wearing very old-fashioned headphones this evening.
Well, people, Trevor, will expect that of you. To you, that is the height of technology. A man who lives essentially in the 50s. We've got a lovely show coming up for you, right? Aside from the music, there's going to be an item where we help you. That's called, what's it called? Cry for Help, isn't it? Help. Cry for Help.
Help.
We've made a jingle for it, but I don't know if we like it. Let's have a listen to it. This is... Help. Right now. One of the reasons that I would query the use of that is because we got that Cry for Help jingle when last week a woman, I think she was called Kirsty, phoned up and she was having a crisis of confidence. She said, I've got no confidence. We made her feel a bit more confident. Now we've robbed her voice saying, help, and used it as a jingle.
Did she give permission?
I don't know if she gave permission for her voice to be used as a jingle.
She did not give permission.
Even if she did give permission, she's not confident enough to give consent in that kind of area. Should have done it to win our approval.
No, she's changed.
There's another one without her.
Go on then, let's listen to that. That's Cry for Help. Cry for Help. Help! It's confusing. Sounds like Salvador Dali's Migraine Factory. So, but what we are going to do is, we'll be helping you with your problems. If you've got any problems at all, send them in to us here on, oh, well, I don't know what the address is. Well, it's BBC Radio 2. You work it out for yourselves. I cannot spoon feed people information through life constantly, can I?
Well,
you can email us at russell.brand@bbc.co.uk. You can call 0500 288 291, or you can text us at 88291. We'll help you with literally any problem. One fella last week, Pete, he was having a problem dating an 18-year-old. In fact, she wasn't even 18. She was 28. He was so confused and perplexed by his life that he didn't even know how old the person he was going out with was. We helped him, didn't we? We found out her name, which he had forgotten, by phoning her up. Now those two are, even as we speak, out on a date. Now, he has asked us not to ring him, but we're going to. So we'll find out how that date goes later. Also, coming in the studio for the last half hour will be man and comic Steve Merchant. That'd be nice, won't it? Have you met Steve Merchant, Matthew Morgan?
Yes.
Nice, isn't he?
Yes.
Long, isn't he? Huge. Long, great, goggle-eyed loon. Trev, have you met Steve Merchant?
I think so. I think he did Cool Eddie's Secret Cabaret back in the late 90s.
Well, that's what most people remember him for. Well, you think Steve Merchant, you think Cool Eddie's Cabaret back in the 90s. The Office, Extras, their numerous radio projects. He's on Six Music now, our sister radio station, so we'll be plugging that later and talking to Steve Merchant about how he feels just going through life. Also, we'll phone up that lovable scamp. Why? It's Noel Gallagher, of course. Should we ring him up?
Forget this time.
We forgot last time. We always say we ring up. No, we take Noel Gallagher for granted, and I think we need to have a look at ourselves because he's one of the greatest musicians in this country, and we treat him like a
Why have you got a skull hanging around your neck?
Because, Matthew, it's a little thing called style that I've been awarded for by a little old mag called GQ. They have awarded me for my style. So if I wear something...
There'd be an inquiry after that.
There will not be an inquiry. This, if anything, endorses my status.
It's like a little medicine man. The Ewoks have things like that around their neck.
The Ewoks, Matthew, were snappy little dresses to a man. Especially Wicket, I recall, being one of them. Dapper little swine. You think the Ewoks are real anyway, Matthew?
Yeah, I do.
There, he even admits it, quite frankly. Right, so...
Why'd you say that?
I don't know, I just felt like it. Like how you think that you look at the front of a car and you think that's that car's face.
Everyone thinks that.
No, just you. You look at a woman's boobs and think it's their sort of body eyes. That's the way you go through life, thinking things like that. Whereas I
tell you these things in private.
The mics are on. The mics are on. Watch what you're saying.
Russell used to play with Chewbacca as Teen Wolf.
There's nothing wrong with that. I had a Chewbacca Star Wars toy. I grew tired of the narrative of Star Wars. It was inhibiting storylines. I just had to get that off my chest. Right, so I would sometimes pretend he was Teen Wolf. Now, if that makes me a criminal, well, you better lock me up and throw away the key, because I'll do it again, so as I would. And sometimes I used Han Solo as Indiana Jones there.
No!
I did, yes,
really?
yes, I did. And another time, just recently, I was wearing a waistcoat, and I looked like Han Solo when he's wearing that black and white outfit, and I looked at myself and I felt pleased.
Yeah, but that was one of the early figures, and he had legs went to a thin point.
Too thin. Oh, what about when they had a lightsaber in the arm? This is going to alienate anyone who wasn't a child in the 80s. But, the Star Wars figures had lightsabers concealed within the arm. It was very unsatisfying. Awful business. But, anyway, let's continue some of the hot topics we discussed on last week's old radio show, i.e. the execution of Saddam Hussein, which I believe we are against here on this show. We've come out against that execution quite strongly, vehemently, and in a manner that we can only describe as ill-researched. Here's an email from Smooch's Inga Hyatt. That's a strange sound. What? Oh no, smooches is what she sends us. Smooches, as in kisses, I suppose. A smooch. But like a smooch, you almost imagine that smooch could be pluralised in itself. Like sheep or fish.
A smooch of fish.
Yeah, let's smooch, baby. Ugh. I'm not saying that it's a collective noun, Trev. I'm saying that smooch could be pluralised.
No one could have ever said that without irony. No
What's that? Give us a smooch.
I smooched a girl last night.
Yeah, well, it's going quite well. We smooched for a bit now. Found out she was still married, so I was pretty brassed off. Right, this is from Inga Hyatt. She goes, she's in New York. She goes, when I heard your thoughts on Saddam, like we said, like we felt sorry for him because he had, when he was finding out, he had a long beard and he'd been eating fun-sized Mars bars. We felt he was just having a lonely little party in a coffin, right? We felt sorry for him. Goes, when I heard your thoughts on Saddam, I was happy to hear I wasn't alone. For some reason, I had a soft spot in my heart for him. Perhaps it was because he looks like my dad. See attached photo in a shirt I got him in LA. Let's have a look. Well, he does look a bit like Saddam Hussein, but Saddam Hussein wearing a sort of a bikini printed on a nightie, if you can imagine that. Then he goes, maybe it's because he liked to eat Fruit Loops and feed the birds in jail.
Yeah,
do you think, did he?
That's true.
He used to sit in jail eating Fruit Loops.
He used to feed the birds through the bars.
Oh no, what have we done? He was misunderstood. I think we've all got a bit carried away in the hoopla of it all and executed essentially an Arabian Father Christmas. What have we done? What have we done? Now, I know he's done loads of things that are well out of order, but it's not better.
We've said this before, no one's totally evil.
No one's totally
Hitler's
evil.
dog would have thought Hitler was nice.
Hitler's dog Blondie. Isn't it worrying that I know the name of Hitler's dog? Well, there you go, deal with it.
Didn't he experiment on his dog?
Of course he didn't. He rode it around a bit like he was General Custer.
He did. He practiced with his suicide tablet on the dog.
Oh man,
in the bunker.
That's a rumour.
In the film.
Mind you, I was about to say that's just to blacken his name, but like, as if you need to create a rumour. Oi, don't ruin Hitler's reputation.
It's true.
You build someone up and then knock him down.
In the film Downfall, he goes, Blondie, come here, and then he gives the little tablet.
The film Downfall is not a documentary, Matthew.
Pretty much.
Just because it's in German.
Much. That's what happened.
Yeah, that's what happened. That's an act of kindness. No, that was
that film Downfall.
No, he was practicing on
the driving narrative of the film Downfall, a German film, was essentially, don't blame the Germans for Hitler. It kept going it always had bits of Hitler going in, what? The Germans don't like me? Well, screw those guys! Like that. Always trying to say
Curious accent.
Yeah, he was from the Bronx, apparently. Hitler was just some punk. He was a wise guy.
A bully boy.
Hey, you're a bully boy with your hair greased back. You're dressed like a trucker. Get out of town. Then it continues, this email. Those things weren't from the email. That was just us guys fucking around. And then it goes, anyway, I'm not sure, but it just made me sad to see him executed, continues Inga Hyatt. Well, that's because of your humanity there, Inga. You've contacted your innate humanity there, your love for all living things. Anyway, I ended up getting in a fight with my arse of a boss. Wow, that's a weird situation. Is this a woman, some kind of prostitute, dominated by her own bot? No, I think what it is her boss is an ass. But in a way, aren't we all governed?
And it doesn't mean a physical fight, that's an American.
Yeah, this is an American person talking, so let's take everything with a pinch of salt. Right, he got
mad at me, then we got into a fight. Hey, crikey, blimey, it was a lift, it was an elevator, it was friendly fire.
I got into a fight with my arse of a boss about this very topic on Monday. I'm against any death penalty, and he is a Republican, thus wants everything to die immediately. That's a tough policy, isn't it? Everything to die. Christ. So I suppose it's not a secret anymore, but now my boss will fear me, which he should, because I have a lot of dirt on him. A lot. Inga Hyatt, does she want this to be read out? It sounds like she's really compromised her position at work.
She's plotting.
Inga, do not plot against your boss in this way, although we do endorse your whacked-out views on Saddam. OK, later on, let's have a bit of a chat about that BNP ballerina. Let's talk about David Beckham clearing off to America. Let's talk about...
When did the show become news night?
I don't know. Now. I think us guys have got to know more about the news. Also, we'll talk about...
Have you got these things written down? You have?
Yeah,
What's going
I've
on?
written down on this bit of paper, mate, so as we know what we're doing.
My
I went down the old Hammers today, see West Ham draw with Fulham. I've got some views on that. I'm aching to get off my chest.
What's your song?
What?
Very briefly.
What happened?
Your song.
Well, I sort of distanced myself from the song because I found it embarrassing.
So it's
that
not happening?
I've got embarrassed by it, Matt, because you're there. It's a very male, masculine. I tried to start a chant at Upton Park, for those of you that don't know this. I thought it would be nice if everyone at Upton Park sang Uptown Girl by Billy Joel, but changed it to Upton Park, we're the Hammers, we're from Upton Park, this is the real problem. We're just a bunch of East End boys, and stuff like that. Right, now this led me to become a figure of hate in East London. No, it didn't. People, you know, it was funny, because a couple of weeks ago I was there, and someone went, "Oi, Russell! Upton Park, we're the Hammers," and did sort of a little jig.
You should have finished it. You should have seen it through and had it sung.
Look, if I was going to do it, I'd have to print out song sheets, I'd have to distribute it. It would be like trying to start the Nationalist Socialist Party all over again, which I wasn't involved in. So, like, you know, it's a lot of difficulty, to tell you the truth.
Okay.
Right, so, anyway, Noel Gallagher's on this programme later, as long as we ring him and he answers. We're going to solve your problems on that thing, Cry for Help. Are you going to do that jingle again?
No, I'm not.
What are you dabbling
I'm
with,
getting my
Matthew?
fingers ready to press the song.
What do you have to get ready for?
got to
Do you
limber 'em
have
up.
a month's notice, like Stephen Hawking? Do you want to pre-record it all? I'm not attacking Stephen Hawking. He's obviously a brilliant genius. He wouldn't care. Right. So, what are we going to have a listen to now? Oh, let's listen to Half Man, Half Biscuit. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's listen to him. Then, right. But phone us about your problems and that. What's that number? 500 288 291. Phone us on that. Listen to Half Man, Half Biscuit.
99% of gargoyles look like Bob Todd.
99% of gargoyles look like Bob Todd. Half man, half biscuit.
Who is Bob
I
Todd?
don't know who Bob Todd is. Tell us if you know, because we'd like to know. You can text us 88291 or 0500 288 291 if you're using a telephone machine. Alexander Graham Bell came up with them. You listen to Russell Brand on BBC Radio 2. We're helping people with their problems in an item that we call Cry for Help. Now, what happens is you just tell us your problem, then once you've told us it, you go, help, like that, in your own voice. Trevor, don't sniff your microphone. Why are you doing that? Do you see him doing that sometimes?
I see a lot of
You're
people.
sniffing it.
There's an unusual smell here, and I thought it might have been the microphone
It's
shield.
inside of your nose. Why would you think it? Why would you blame the
Well,
microphone?
look at it. I mean, that's been around for a few years, hasn't it?
Trevor, this is Terry Wogan's studio. By implication, you are accusing Terry Wogan, one of this nation's most loved broadcasters, of being a pervert. What are you saying? That he sits here with that down his trousers,
Well, if that's the
broadcasting?
If
Is that
that's
what you're
the case,
suggesting?
if that's the case, I'm hardly going to pass up this opportunity, am I?
Mopping up his sweat?
Do you reckon this is what Terry Wogan smells
No, I
like?
don't
No,
think.
this is-
Listen,
this-
I don't want you
he's
to
sitting in this
speculate.
chair.
Wogan will be there where Matt
No, he wouldn't.
sits.
He'd be on this one, because this is green. You two have got just ordinary
What,
ones.
It smells
Emerald
nice.
Isle?
It
Emerald
smells
Isle.
of
Look, this is
brogues.
mental breakdown. Everyone shut up and concentrate. Now, right, Noel Gallagher's on later, if we ring him. Steve Merchant's on later, if he turns up. Then Saddam Hussein will get to the bottom of that riddle, whether it were right or wrong. Here's an email. It's from Alice. She says, "Hiya, guys. I'm doing those pointless mock exams at school at the moment. I go to a grammar school, so they're really serious about it all. But right now, I should be revising what Christians think. Oh, right, what Christians think and how Muslims get married. But it's boring and pointless. And to be perfectly honest with you, I couldn't care less, so I'm emailing you instead." Good, well done. Well, those mock exams. What's the point of having a mock exam?
What's she training to be, a vicar?
She's young. She's at the stage where she's just being educated in everything.
Oh, really?
Before they let you out into the world, Trev, you have to know an education that is frankly lacking in your conduct. It would be nice if you knew a bit more about things before you open your mouth saying things like, "My microphone smells of Wogan's nuts." So,
Ignorance is bliss, young man. Now, guess what? I've found out who Bob Todd is.
who is Bob Todd?
Bob Todd's the tall fella in Benny Hill. Tall, bald fella.
What, the one who got slapped on the head?
Don't know, never
That's
seen him.
funny. 99% of gargoyles do look like him. I'd say. It's about that. About 99%. You'd look at 100 gargoyles, one of them you think, that looks nothing like Bob Todd, but the rest of them, that's Bob Todd, all right. Yeah. So there you are. The half man, half biscuit are imparting information. Don't worry about your mock exams. Why don't you? Right, if they're even going to give it the name, mock exams, why don't you take a derisory and comical attitude to those exams? Yeah, just write F this lot all over it, and then when your actual exam, and they'll think, bloody hell, this girl's daft, she needs special attention. Then when you do your proper exams, really kick in with your actual intelligence. That's my advice to you, Alice. We've got someone on the phone who needs help with a problem. I believe his name's Phil. Are you there, Phil?
I am. You alright?
I'm ever so well, mate. Where are you talking to us from? It sounds like you're in a catacomb.
I'm from Hertfordshire.
Where's she?
She?
Hertfordshire, did you say?
Yeah.
But and in a sort of a cavernous space in Hertfordshire.
In my living room.
Lovely. You do live in a sort of a Gothic temple.
I I wish I did. Unfortunately not.
Now, Phil, you phoned us with a problem, and it would be impolite of us not to inquire as to what that problem is. Tell us, what's the problem, Phil? We're all listening to you, and we want nothing more than to help.
Okay, the problem is I'm doing AS psychology at the moment at college, and basically on Monday, I get to start planning the coursework, and I can do whatever I want for the coursework.
Yeah.
And I came up with the ingenious idea that me and you should make groundbreaking evidence in psychology by you allowing me to study you for my psychology coursework.
I don't want to be studied.
Oh, go on.
You inspect me, putting a lolly stick under my nuts. I'm a very private man. What do you want? Why have you chosen me to be the subject of your analysis,
Because,
Dr. Lecter? Turn that high-powered lamp on yourself, Dr. Lecter.
Months back, I came up with an idea of testing the memory, which I now decided against because the whole class is going for it. So I decided to be a bit different from everyone else and maybe look at someone in the public eye.
Phil, have you considered the practical implications of this bizarre experiment? You'd have to come and live around my house.
No.
How old are you, Phil?
I'm 18.
Phil, you would not... I live a very hectic lifestyle.
I know.
You could just do it from listening to you.
Basically, I wanted to study someone in the public eye because I thought it'd be fascinating.
Stop saying the public eye all the time. It makes me feel like that beginning of James Bond bit when all the blood happens over him. Listen, Phil, you could judge and analyse me simply from these radio broadcasts, as Matt Morgan
but that wouldn't be as fun.
What do you actually want from me, young man?
I don't know, basically, 'cause I haven't properly thought this out and planned it
No,
yet.
you haven't.
Basically,
now, what I think is
on Monday.
My feeling is, Phil, is you're on the precipice of manhood, and you're not sure which way your sexuality is going to go, and you're hoping I might give you a nudge into the homosexual direction.
I think you're wrong.
Right, well, I'm not going to be analysed by you if your basic standpoint is that I'm wrong. I'm quintessentially wrong. We'll discuss this later. Matt, do you think it's a good idea to let this young man, who seems forever to be on the brink of cracking up with laughter,
oh, come on,
judge
be
my
I actually
groundbreaking.
did AS psychology and had to do a case study.
Who did you do it on?
Well, I didn't do it on a person, I did it on how people hold folders.
You did it on how people hold folders?
Well,
What a waste of time!
Women,
That's our
women
taxpayer
hold
money.
folders up to their chest, men hold folders down at their
Why wouldn't they, the sexy devils? Where do men hold it?
down their, at their side.
What an insight that is.
Sex
That's
mad.
AS level, and you got that much. out of
AS
it.
level's half an A level, it's not worth bothering.
He's bright as a button, young Matthew Morgan. If you want to know where to stick your folder, try Matt's bum. Right, okay, now Phil, if you want to judge old Russ, you're very welcome to, but what concerns me is that you might reach the conclusion that I'm a dangerous, psychopathic narcissist,
No.
and that might damage my career on digital TV.
No, I wouldn't do anything to damage your career.
Fair enough then, you sound
Send
like...
him a questionnaire, Russell will fill in a questionnaire.
Alright then, send us a questionnaire. You could be like Mengele to our Reich. No, Mengele was an awful
Mengele.
man.
Right,
Right, we're
doctor.
having nothing to do with any of them.
Let
They're
him move
awful.
in.
What?
Let him move in for a
Phil
week.
is not moving into my house,
I'm
Trev.
not moving for a week. I just want to, I don't know.
What are you scared of?
Phil!
Help!
yes,
well
that's
done,
the help.
Phil. You did say help there, so now we are obliged to help a bit. Why don't you live with Trevor?
No.
For a little while.
No.
Trevor's an interesting case, the
No.
way he carries on. Do you know he wears women's tights under his trousers?
Silly.
Why would anyone do that?
Well, it's warm, isn't it?
It's odd
Maybe I
way
could
to
do an
behave.
interview with you.
Yeah, he does. What? You want to do an interview? All right, pop
interview.
down next week, but don't be all weird, because
What's
otherwise
that?
it will upset us. You can come down next week and interview us before the radio show, but only if you dress as a schoolgirl from St Trinian's. Right,
Oh, come on, let me dress the boy.
all right, fair enough. Dress how you will, young man. We're just trying our best to help people through life. Phil, leave your details with young Claire Jones. She's there in the office, cold, impassive, indifferent, like the ancient rocks of Easter Island. So, I don't know, that's how to describe people. So, yeah, Phil, thanks for your call. Cut old Phil off now, he's balmy. But, do take his details. We'll help him if it's help that he requires. There, he seemed like a nice young man, didn't he, Matthew?
Yes, but you won't be able to pass AS psychology.
By judging someone
by
off the wireless.
interviewing someone.
No, he won't. That exam's doomed. And what worries me is when his exams all fail, what's going to happen next? He's going to blame old Russ.
Yeah. Why has he picked psychology as well?
Why psychology,
Yes,
Trev?
exactly.
Very fishy, the whole business. All right, what are we going to have a little listen to now?
Thin Lizzy.
Let's have a little listen to Thin Lizzy. After Thin Lizzy, we'll talk more about your problems. Give us a call, 0500 288 291, or you can text us on 88291. Let us know what you think about that ballet dance at BNP, Bird, and the protest that they had there and all that sort of stuff. Oh, I love them. The rock Walker, Finn Lizzie, listen to Russell Brand on Radio 2. We're helping people with all their problems, and that's best we can, just trying our hardest to get through life. Got some interesting emails. Last week, you may recall, if you listen to our show, that Trevor Locke was making some bizarre claims about a dictator from Turkmenistan changing the days of the week to his name and stuff like that, and his kids' names, and meddling with the Gregorian calendar, which we all love so bloody much.
I made no bizarre claims.
You made bizarre claims,
What
Trev, and it
claims were
seems some of
bizarre?
those claims
Go
have
on.
been undermined by a little thing we call truth.
Come on then.
Hey guys, says Nick. But he says peace, Nick, so it says peace, Nick, like what they don't like in America. That dictator from Turkmenistan that you fellas were talking about last week died. Sad news indeed. His name was Saparat Niyazov. He did some wacky things like changing the word bread to his mother's name and telling kids to chew on bones to keep their teeth healthy. I like the
true.
sound of this guy.
That's true.
Change the name bread to your mum's name. Nice. Why not have that?
Freudian, isn't it?
It's a bit mental. Oh, mother, pass the bread. Oh, your bread's gone all crumbly. Oh, mum, can I wear your bra? Yes, you're right, Matt. There's clear Freudian implications to the way that man carried on. Telling kids to chew on bones to keep their teeth healthy.
Calcium.
Yummy, more like it. Then, and other things like that are available. He ordered an ice rink. Oh no, I've ruined that a bit. Forget what I just said about ice rinks, right? And now listen again. He ordered an ice palace to be made, which sounds pretty sinister, but
What was it?
an ice rink! So it's not sinister at all! That's from old Nick telling us stuff.
When did he die then?
Trev, it's very easy in life to point the finger and damn other people. Not so easy to take responsibility for your actions. Those are not my words, but the words of Dr. Martin Luther King, a man who you, Trevor, openly despise. Dear Russell, Matt and Trevor, I'm afraid your favourite crazy dictator, the eccentric ruler of Turkmenistan, died of a heart attack on the 21st of December 2006. He's only just died.
Right.
Oh, we could have got over there. We could have
I
teamed
was
up.
hoping. I was
What, hang
hoping.
on, he's died this week?
No,
Last week, Matt. He says the
Seriously,
date,
just before
21st of
Christmas.
December. That's not now. You should know when things happen.
I
If
didn't
you weren't
listen to it,
around,
but-
he just goes everywhere on his bike these days. He's lost touch with society.
No, it's a good question.
All the
'cause
neighbours' kids call him the bicycle man. He's got no identity.
I'd call him the coal man, the way he's dressed.
Look at him, poor sod.
Well, he dressed like my Coleman used to dress.
When do you have a coal man? You're our age. You didn't have a coal
We had
man.
a Coleman back in the early 80s. We had
Trevor,
a
you're
Coleman.
not from upstairs, downstairs. You better get hold of yourself, young man.
He was supplied the whole village. It wasn't just us, obviously.
Lies.
Trevor, you
What was
better-
his name?
Mr. Yates, he had a coal truck.
Right, we'll get to the bottom
and
of
he
this.
dressed like him. In fact, his
Someone
helper
research
dressed like
that,
him.
find out about
covered in
Yates's
coal?
coal dispensers in the Northampton area. If there isn't one, we will have Trevor flogged.
I thought his helper was a ghost because he was covered in coal
Don't
dust.
hear any more of this, Trevor.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm not interested in your silly words. His name, by the way, was President for Life, Saparat Niyazarov. That's good, isn't it? He changed his name to Father for Life. So immediately, that would plant in their head the idea. Say I changed my name to Ever So Good at Doing Radio Shows Brand. You go, how good is Ever So Good at Doing Radio Shows Brand at doing radio shows? Go, it's alright, sometimes be unprofessional. He banned, among other things, this guy, Turkmenistan fella,
Stein.
beards.
Why do you keep saying Stein? It's
I
really
don't know.
annoying me. Every time you say it,
What else?
I pinch my own hand.
Don't pinch your own hand, Matthew.
You say Turkmenistan.
I say Stein.
Yeah.
You say Stan.
Hey.
Why not? Let's get on with it. So, anyhow, this guy, Turkmenistan, he goes, is that right?
It's the country, not the man.
I don't know what's going on.
Get on with it.
He banned beards, he banned video games, he banned car radios, opera, ballet, dogs in the capital city, long hair on men, and makeup on television newsreaders. What a bastard.
Yeah, but that was good when he said don't put wet makeup on because he said you're beautiful enough already.
Was that what he said, Trev?
That's what he said.
Or was he wanting people to be exposed?
No, he
So they
wasn't.
didn't feel confident when they was doing the news.
He said Turkmenistani women are the most beautiful women in the world, therefore
they?
why would they put makeup on?
So why just
news.
newsreaders?
Yeah, why just newsreaders, Trev? What about prostitutes, eh? Are they exempt from his bizarre rulings?
Probably, but it probably wasn't a good enough soundbite. That's why he didn't get that information.
You are a lovely prostitute, but take off your makeup and just feed me more bread. I mean mother! Bread! I mean bread! So, yeah.
Do you know what that means though, Russ?
What, Trev?
Some little country's got a vacancy going for a totalitarian leader.
Hello! Hello, Rasmenstein. It's a glorious new era for us all there. Do you know what I used to do? I used to, when I was taking LSD, which I don't recommend because it's bad for the old brain box, I used to watch the news, and then when the weather forecast girl would come on, I'd think, if I concentrate really hard, I can ruin this weather forecast for her.
It wasn't just when you were on drugs. When I first knew you, I went round his house, and he goes, "Oh, you have to sleep in my bed," so I had to lay there. And the weather came on, he goes, "Here, watch this." This is so weird.
Be careful, because...
No, it's completely not.
Right.
He was completely straight. It wasn't, hang on. He wasn't on drugs at all, and he goes, "I can make them make mistakes." And he laid there in bed, staring out the weather person, trying to make her make a mistake, and she slightly floundered on the word. He went, "Oh, I did it! Did you see?" Like that. And I was thinking, oh dear. I was asleep on the side of the bed near the door.
Okay, well, as if it's your decision, make Matt sleep on inside of bed. Make Matt sleep on inside of bed.
Do you
Yeah.
still do that when you're at home?
No, yeah, a bit. Sometimes, yeah. Let's do it to Andrea Simmons tonight, who reads our news now. She's our friend. We'll just get her to say...
Don't try and change the subject a bit away from the fact that you used to stare at the telly and try and make people make
I
mistakes.
like doing that.
It's not completely mad either, because the people in the CIA used to experiment with people like
Yeah,
you.
John Ronson, who came on our show, in his
Yeah.
book, said that they get goats to die by staring
That's
at them.
right.
Yeah, but he
yeah.
found, no, people tried to, and it was complete rhubarb. Like it actually ever worked.
What about that book we read before? You know, what that's the holographic, photographic.
The holographic universe,
universe.
that everything's just a transient illusion and we shouldn't take life so seriously. Well, luckily I haven't been. That's the news. No, news is important, and there's be some of that coming up later. All right, so bear in mind about that. I'm responsible. I'm responsibility. So let's tell you this thing right out of our brains. All right, Russell, Trevor, Matt. Before we'd like to know. Look, during the Brighton game on Saturday, West Ham v Brighton, that'll be, a few of us made an attempt at singing your Upton Park chant, says Ollie Moore. Could have gone better, but we'll keep trying. That sounds to me like he's trying to protect my feelings, and it was a bloody disaster. However, we have come up with a new chant for the newly appointed Boa Morta. Similar to Rio Coca, do, it's Lewis Boa Morta. Do, scoring is his forte. Alright, so as long as you're pronouncing that Morte, then forte will rhyme. As long as the Upton Park crew can handle forte, we think it can be big. So if you wouldn't mind giving it a little mention during the show, he can slowly grow around Upton Park. Ollie, I've done my best, but let me tell you, it can be very difficult to make those young men sing gay chants. That's all I'll say. Okay, so we've got someone on the phone. Let's talk to this human being. We can offer them a help in an item we like to call Cry for Help. It's Lionel. Hello, Lionel. Are you there?
Hello, yes, I'm here.
Lionel, you immediately, I can tell, you require help. Now, what's up?
Well, I work in an office, and
Oh,
they do
terrible
that
business.
Christmas Santa thing.
Ah,
Secret
And you got to
Santa.
spend
Secret
£10.
Santa.
Yeah, you got to spend a tenner
Right,
on someone for Christmas.
right.
And you pull their name out, a hat,
Yeah.
and then
You've got to buy them a
you've
present for a
got to buy
tenner.
something, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was all well and good. And then this
Already it's confusing for me. Who'd you
and
get?
others.
Who'd you get out of the hat?
Well, I've got Pat.
Oh,
No,
God, not
Pat, that greedy, selfish bitch.
She'll never be happy.
She'll never be happy because she's not happy on the inside. That's why.
ain't
You
happy
cannot
now.
please Pat.
What's
Threw
happened?
it in the bin.
She threw your present in the bin. Pat.
What, in front of you?
No, I found it in the bin.
Oh, that's worse.
Oh, that's worse.
Lionel, why were you looking in the bin, darling? For scraps. For scraps and
It's an IT thing, that's what I do.
What, sorry, mate?
It's an IT, I'm the IT manager.
So why
You're out of your depth, Lionel. Scooting around the bins.
Yeah.
what did you give her?
Well, it's a book.
What was the book?
It was, do you want to read the title? I've
Yes.
got it.
Got it
with
back
me.
from
You
the bin.
picked it out of the bin. Well, good, because we'll give it to someone more grateful than this.
Well, yeah, I'll read
Absolute
it out,
villain,
and then
Pat.
you can designate a recipient.
All right, brilliant. I like you, the way you talk, mate. Designate
go.
a recipient. Right up your Harris.
This is the title.
Right, go on, mate.
How Animals Have Sex.
Right, now I'm beginning to see the problem here, Lionel. What you've done is you've offended Pat by offering a bit of animal pornography as a Christmas
On the
gift.
cover, it says, from panda porn to snail love darts, a guide to the reproductive habits of creatures great and small.
And that woman found issue with that. What kind of society
I
are we
wrote
living in?
inside it, Merry Christmas.
Good, because it was Christmas.
As a party game, you could match them up to Quest employees.
Right. What do you mean? What go? You're like a panda, you're like an elephant.
Yeah, like a little
Dave
thing
in
at the
accounts
time,
is like
innit?
an
I had
alligator.
an idea there, I thought, and
Well, it's been rebuffed, hasn't it, Lionel? It must hurt.
anyway, I confronted him about it. I said, "Do you like your present?"
Yeah. Then what
It was
happened?
disgusting.
She said it was disgusting.
And she thought, as she was retiring this year, I'd gone to more effort and bought something like a scarf.
All right, so listen, why don't you...
I wouldn't have bought a scarf.
No, good. She doesn't deserve a scarf, Lionel. You reached out the hand of friendship, although in that hand was filthy animal porn, and she is ungratefully tossed into a bin. This reminds me of the opening sequence of the cartoon Super Ted. Now, if you leave your details with Claire Jones, the Easter Island statue of cold indifference, she will then get that bloody woman and we'll ring her up and confront her about her ingratitude live on air.
Maybe she read the book and then put it in the bin.
Maybe she...
I don't think she has, because I was looking through it. Don't look any of the pages have been touched.
You're a bloody good sleuth, you are.
What are you looking for?
He's a super sleuth, it's a super sleuth, he's on the case. So oh yeah, what did you expect to find in there?
I don't know,
Bit of lipstick or
a
something.
page corner turned over. Or
Oh, I must remember how
laugh or
alligators
something.
fiddle.
What did you
It's got a
get?
few good bits in it. It's got a little mock conversation between King Kong and Fay Ray.
Why would no one like
Oh,
what
come
kind
on,
of
this is
woman
gold.
Pat? She doesn't even want... I said mock conversation between Fay Ray
A
and Kong.
scarf compared to that?
Who wants a scarf? I'd use that scarf to
It's got a
hang
little,
myself
in the
rather than
back, like,
give up
a
that
little,
gift.
let's have I'll find it. A little
Are you alright, Lionel?
Did you write this book,
appendix.
Lionel?
Has this been published? Is this book written on your inner thighs? Is it being written in your leg with a compass? Lionel? Don't die while we're on the phone to you, Lionel!
Are you there?
Yeah, we're here, mate, we're here.
My cousin phoned you before Christmas,
I like how
and,
you...
Oh, that cab driver.
Was it Mick?
yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You know what he done?
Go on.
He made a CD out of that conversation and
Did he?
gave it to his family as a present.
You're an enterprising family of loonies, as far as I can
Turned
gather.
up, and what's really odd about it, he didn't even know who he was.
Where you...
Turned up at my house Christmas morning with a DVD,
Yeah.
your live stage thingy or whatever.
Very good
His
DVD.
stepdaughter bought him, asking if he could use my telly to watch it,
Yeah.
because he ain't got a telly.
Listen, Lionel, we're going to have to let you go now, because, you know, you might become a regular character on this show if we can get you to wear a straw hat or something. So I think what you should do now is leave your details. We're going to get in touch with Pat. We'll resolve this problem.
The thing is the help thing. I don't want to buy something else. I ain't buying a scarf. I never bought one. I'm not just going to start now.
Don't start buying scarves now. It'll get out of control
Daniel,
before you know it.
yeah.
Of course it is. You'll be buying 10
Lionel,
scarves
She's
a day.
retiring.
What?
Ideas. You see, I need
Hold on,
ideas.
Matt wants to ask a question. Don't worry about Pat's retirement. We're going to deal with this one step at a time, Lionel.
What gift did you receive, Lionel?
I've got quite a nice thing, actually.
Go on.
I always did say I've got a little Jack Daniels thing.
Little Jack Daniels, other whiskies are available. Right, Lionel, you leave your details with the BBC Radio 2 person that is Claire Jones, and then we'll get in touch with you. And I wouldn't mind getting in touch with Pat. Have you got her number?
No, I'll get it, though. I'll text it to you next week.
Get it now.
I can't get it now. I'm at work, am I? And
Crash her door in.
I IT people, so I have to work night and day. The boss is happy, but
Are you at work now?
no, I'm on my way home.
Go back, rifle through her desk.
No, she won't be. Nothing in there.
You don't know what's in people's desks.
No, I'll go through them.
Oh, Lionel. Oh, Lionel, we've unearthed a loon. Lionel, okay, leave your details. We're going to help you as best we can. Leave your details because we want to get in touch with you next week just to see how your life's going.
Okay, matey.
All right, take care, mate. Thanks for your
Okay.
time there.
Bye.
There goes
Bye.
old Lionel. Bye, mate. Bye-bye. Do you think Lionel's a real person?
No.
He's too good, isn't it? That's too perfect.
It's the same bloke. It's Mick.
It's
Lionel
the
is
same.
Mick.
He's bloody good. Even if
brilliant.
either he's actually a nutter or he's good. We should find out.
Either
who he is
way,
anyway.
who cares? Get him back.
Although I don't like the. It's funny though. How animals have sex. It was good pitch and tone. Well, I don't know.
What, are you saying he might be a...
A character.
He was definitely a character because when you asked the
How did he
question,
get
what
through?
did you get?
Get him,
There
he
was a
thought for a while
pause,
to think
and
something
you could
funny.
see his eyes scanning the room and landing on a Jack Daniels bottle and going to Jack Daniels.
No,
He's drunk. You think he's legit?
I think he's real.
You think he's real? Right, okay, well, that you can text us whether you think Lionel's real or not. You can text us 88291, or you can call 0500 288 291. Also, you can text us your suggestions for how we should discover whether or not Lionel is for real. I want to believe he's for real, but I still believe not only is there a Father Christmas, but that Father Christmas is Saddam Hussein. Why don't we have a little listen now? We're going to listen to, Stevie Wonder? Well, that'll cheer us right up. Let's have a listen to that. Then after that, though, right, let's have New York Dolls.
All right, you could have told me that in the song. You've let the listeners see behind the curtain.
They're sitting behind the curtains, a magical world of Radio 2. As I wish Stevie Wonder, you listen to Russell Brand on Radio 2. I've not got a very good understanding of time. Say someone goes, you've got 1 minute. I think of that 1 minute as permanent and intransitory. Just like, oh, you've got 1 minute. Not thinking that as soon as they're finished, that's a bit less time already. Do you know what I mean? Like when you, Trevor, I was in a lavvy, Trev goes, you've got 1 minute. I thought, that's all right, that's not now. That's 1 minute. But then, of course, time continues its relentless march.
It's very foolish.
Stupid, isn't it? That's the fundamental thing about time, is its transience and its perpetual motion.
I hope that psychology student's listening to this.
A man that refuses to accept the concept of time. Right, hold on, we've got some interesting... Listen to this. Beware, says Will Slemmings, beware the true intentions of your AS psychology interviewer, who you have just mentioned, Trevor Lockie Cocky Ducky Ducky. He goes, I'm Will, I'm Will, and I'm taking my A2 psychology at the moment, and I didn't have to do any coursework to get my AS. This guy may be using the coursework ploy to get close to you. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, God.
I hope he is. That would make it so much more exciting.
Turns me on. That lad trying to get close to me through psychology, like Freud, on a couch doing cocaine off his own winkle. Oh Christ, no. Well, apparently he liked cocaine, Matt. He liked cocaine.
Who, Freud?
Apparently he was into it.
Yeah.
So, anyway... Oh, then he goes, another possibility is that his school uses a different exam body. Listen, you've just damned him. An exam body. Ooh, you've got a lovely exam body, haven't you? Oh, Christ, I'll give you a gold star. So, Russell, Trevor and Matt, I was listening to your show last week, during which you talked about Matt being able to read Russell like a book. Matt said, specifically, a grubby little pop-up book full of erections. My brother-in-law is a paper engineer and has done a pop-up version of the Kama Sutra amongst books on architecture as well as children's books. I think that you should put your idea into practice and simultaneously produce both the testament for your cult religion and the best-selling coffee table book for Christmas 2007. It would certainly be a leg up for you compared with other world religions to have a pop-up text for believers.
That's good.
Keep up the great inspired work. Dr. Sparks. Dr. Sparks. I like the sound of him, don't you?
Kinky.
Kinky little devil. All right, we'll do it. We'll make a pop-up book of my erection.
You've been thinking about your religion stroke new order?
Yes, I have actually, Matt, and I've got a few more theories for it to make it absolutely watertight. We'll all be living on a nice island, vegetarians doing yoga and that. We'll get rid of ideas such as, like, the nuclear family, and like in African tribes, the word mother will mean all female members of the tribe, and the word father will mean all male members. There will be a lot of... and a lot of... ooh, ooh, and a lot of... as your father... And also, we're not going to have no more currency, stuff like that, no brain bending or mind washing, and we'll all be free to explore ourselves, although there will be an age of consent, and it will be the same as usual, so as people don't go, oh. So that's
pretty watertight, isn't it?
Pretty watertight so far, Matt. I mean, I'd like to see a political theorist to drive a bus through that. If so, where did he get his licence? Because we're in charge of issuing bus licences, and they're not issued to possible dissenters who are immediately killed on Traitors Cove, one of the nicest parts of our island, decorated with all lovely corpses. Thank you for making me laugh on my final night at home, because I'm being executed by the American regime simply for being a bit different. That's from a man whose colour's slightly different from the majority of people in the Republican Party. Not really, it's someone called Nat, and I think he's just going off to university. It's not nearly so political.
This time of year?
Where's he going?
Why not this
What's
time
wrong
of year?
with the students at our school?
September.
Well, maybe he had a long holiday.
What? Because I didn't go to university, but I've got a feeling these guys are liars. Are they?
Well, the convention is you go to university in September. But I'm suggesting he's had an extra long Christmas holiday.
Why has he had it, Trev? How much can one man believe in Jesus? I'm not ready to go back. I'm not finished believing.
Well, look, if you're from Russia or even
you
from...
know perfectly well that I'm not, Trev.
I know,
so why
but
are you starting this line of inquiry?
I'm hypothetical sometimes. Now,
You're
if you
pathetic.
were, you'd have only just finished celebrating Christmas.
Would I?
Yeah, last night. In
What
fact.
would I be wearing, Trev? Would I have had a boob job done?
You'd have had a little, waist thing. But yeah, they finish on the 12th.
What do you think Trevor means sometimes, Matt, when he says
I've
stuff
just
like that?
switched off there.
Good lad. So that's Matt Morgan there, who's in charge of the technical side of the show, just staring into space. Probably imagine that he had goat's legs instead of his own legs or something stupid like that. This is an email from Daisy. Hey guys! I think I'm seriously needing some help, as I always speak in the continuous form, and it's a Saturday night, and I'm sitting in with my mum listening to your show. I used to be a party girl, and now I've been reduced to a boring has-been. Please, plus, Russell, I've been waiting ages for you to add me on MySpace. Hurry up, help me. I'm literally the saddest 21-year-old in the world. There's nothing wrong with you, Daisy. It's fine to be at home with your mum. There's nothing going on outside. I had to look out the window earlier. It's just some light, sort of street lights, pavement, bloke looking for coins. It's ridiculous out there. People want to pull themselves together. Yeah, is there someone on the phone that we should be talking to?
I don't know.
It's Dr. Bernardo! No one expected that guy to turn up again. No, who is it? There's someone. Are you on the... if you're a person and you're on the phone, you can hear me now, say your name. Go on. I can hear someone's there.
Hello?
That was Trevor.
I know, I'm trying to coax
Oh, right,
him
you're
out.
coaxing him out. Well, you won't help, mate.
I will.
Oi, caller.
Come on.
Stop whispering, you what's the caller's name?
I know
Mark?
what this is. This is when you get ghosts on the microphone.
You don't get ghosts. What? Wogan's
Sophie.
thoughts.
Hello?
Sophie.
Hi.
Sophie, why do you begin conversations like
Oh,
that?
sorry.
There's no way.
It's a ghost, I told you.
Crikey. It's like Beatlemania all over again. Sophie, how can we help you?
Well, we've got this problem where we have to do a charity event for school,
Right.
and we don't know what to do.
Right. You have to do a charity event for school. Right, we'll
and,
need
like,
Trevor
raise
and
lots
Matt
of
to help.
money and stuff.
What sort of things, what area are you thinking of at the moment, Sophie, for
Well,
this
we were
charity
going to
drive?
do like a rock concert or something.
That's already
Quite hard to
dangerous.
put together.
Hard. It's not like Wayne's World 2. It's difficult to get it on. There's licensing things, stuff to do with booze laws. How old are you all? You're teenagers, I suppose, are you?
Yeah, we're 15.
I've read about you lot, Asbos. Is it Asbos? Drugs? Drugs, throwing stones at windows in a restaurant in a West End town. Call the police, there's a madman around. I've read about it, love. I've suffered. Right, if you want to raise charity money, best thing to do... Trev, any ideas?
Poetry reading.
Do a poetry
Poetry
it's a bit
slam.
boring.
Do a sponsored scream.
Do a sponsored scream. You're good at screaming. Don't do
Yeah.
it now. Don't do it now. But do like later when you're not on the radio. See who can scream the longest and the loudest, and in the location most likely to cause public unrest and concern, because 15-year-old girls are hollering and screaming. Do it in a way that's sort of innocent and lovely, like the works of Beatrix Potter or perhaps Enid Blyton. Not something that's tinged with sensuality and erotica, like the
scream?
writings of Nabokov. Look, right, what you want to do is just avoid the world of Nabokov when it comes to your fundraising. Right, we're going to go to a little show called The News now, Sophie. You stay listening to our show, you and your screeching cronies, and we'll give you some more advice after. Trevor,
Okay.
you take care, look after yourself, darling. It's good that you're doing fundraising at all. Well done. Right, okay, time now for a little show that us guys here at the BBC like to call the Newsy Poos. Now, hold on before you do it, Matt. We've got to get to say, well, this is Radio 2 from the BBC.
This is the news at 10 o'clock.
Russell Brand.
That's the New York Dolls showdown. It goes
They just
wrong.
gave up.
They just gave up. So he and Johnny Thunders broke a guitar string, but they all get confused. And it's nice how they talk to each other, though. They go, oh, all right, blimey, all crikey, but in their American way, you know. You can imagine it. So there they are. You listen to Russell Brand on Radio 2 here with Matt Morgan. All right, mate?
Yeah.
Trevor Locke's over there. Trevor, are you okay?
I'm okay, I didn't enjoy that song at all. I thought
Why?
it was awful.
Don't attack New York Dolls. They're brilliant.
They're all right, but I think that was a bad choice of song from
They're good.
Well, even they gave up.
They're
on it.
saying there's a showdown going to happen, Trev, and that
Oh, keep
showdown,
it
it
to
seems, is
themselves.
between you and I.
I mean, if they'd been living now, they'd have sent a text and we'd never have to bother with that, would we?
Trevor!
Well, really.
Trevor, you will do
Singing
the rest
little
of this
threats.
They are
show
living
fully
now.
new.
Singing threats like
They'd
that.
done a song last week, it was brilliant.
That was a nice song, wasn't it? It wasn't a threat.
That
a
monkey
lazy
sang to a
threat.
monkey, that was good. It's not a lazy threat,
It
Trevor.
is, there's going to be a showdown.
Listeners, I would like you to know that Trevor Locke has now taken a microphone which he believes to have been in one of Terry Wogan's bodily crevices, and he is sucking it like a comfort rag.
And who wouldn't in my position? Who wouldn't?
Any other human, Trev.
I'm a
We
fan.
respect Terry Wogan
I
as a
respect
man, not as a receptacle for fluids for you to drink, you dirty devil. Russell says, J.M. Barrie? That can't be. Surely he's dead now. But perhaps if we wish hard enough, this will be from him. Every time someone says J.M. Barrie don't exist, then, you know, I don't know, something happens to Winnie the Pooh's legs. Russell. I know that's the other one. I don't care about childhood. Lovely place, though. Didn't want to live there. This is from Sherry Pavey, or Pavey. Russell, I'm going to listen to you tonight in my spare room because my husband wants to watch something on TV. And I want you to read out the footer to my email that I send with every single email because it'll make you all cry. It befits a nanny child, I think. Oh, Christ.
Oh, Nan kids.
Nan kids, oh yeah.
Hello, Nan.
Oh, all right, Nan. Blimey, this weather's on a turn, ain't it? I think I might have a dose of the runs, Nan. You've been brought up by your Nan and you're talking in odd colloquial vernacular. Every time a child says, I don't believe in fairies, there's a little fairy somewhere that falls down dead. Sir James M. Barrie says that. That's a mad axiom to stick us with, isn't it? Because that makes you think, well, if there are fairies, hold on, let's try it. Oh, no, I don't want to do it, in case there are fairies.
You fool.
He's got me up with
Fairies don't exist, fairies don't exist, fairies don't exist.
Mate, you're
That was
right.
a massacre.
You absolute brute, you are the Pol Pot of fairies, and I never thought I'd call you that. I've called you many things.
He's just trying to stop kids questioning things.
He's trying to brainwash us.
Don't ask questions or then a fairy will die.
That's true.
Absolute nonsense. He's not.
He is.
What, he's trying to make us live in a world of imagination?
He's trying to
Wasn't he
open us
messing
up to
them kids about?
possibilities.
Wasn't that in that film? Was he...
No,
Was
that
he
was
not
another
doing off?
writer. That was another film.
Who was that?
I don't know. Let's
Alice
not
in
go into
Wonderland.
it.
When you first said James
Anyway,
You're
we'd like to take
thinking of-
back anything like that that may have caused offence because we've not researched it properly.
Who is he?
J.M. Barrie, he
Yeah.
wrote Peter Pan.
Because I was thinking of J.R. Hartley. Do you remember that?
He wrote that yellow advertiser.
Fly fishing. That's what I was thinking all the way through.
Don't think about him, mate. He's a fictional entity.
I can't let go.
Let him go. Let go of that man was J.M. Barrie. Dun, 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 dun. We're not just there for the nasty things in life, like whether or not they're... No. Hello, Russell, Matt and Trev, says Jamie Curitan, who I think is a footballer. Good evening, sires. I just thought I would send an electronic mail to raise awareness of the promotion of the BBC Radio podcast. Are you all on a probation period, as Wogan, Evans and Wright are shown in big pics on the site, and you are missing? Well, let me tell you, I've heard these other broadcasts, and I suppose they are good, but your show last week was gold. Gold. And I enjoyed it again on Friday via the podcast. I think it's unfair to refuse to... license-paying website users the chance to hear Cry for Help, a perfect radio feature for anyone's ears. I hope this is soon addressed. Jamie Curitin, market deeping. I don't know what that means, that last bit, market deeping. But it raises an interesting point, lads, and that point is this. We're being shortchanged by that website. So unless we've got great big... The lady that takes the pictures is here! Picture lady! What the hell is going on? Name yourself. Don't search Marceau your way for it. Trevor, drag her to the microphone.
Come here.
Drag her to the Wogan mic. Oh, look, she's nervous.
She looks scared.
Don't be nervous. Nothing will happen to you. You are quite safe. There are witnesses. Now, what's your name? Say your name. Right, now listen, right, she's not prepared to speak, but we've got her right where we want her.
No, she's sloped off.
Don't try and slope off,
I'll
love.
do her voice. It's fine. I know
Right,
what
Trevor,
she's
you
thinking.
communicate. Yes,
Just
you
hold
can
my
translate.
Hand. Hold my hand and I'll...
Right, he's got his hand on her abdomen. Now, put it lower, Trev. We don't want any more bother. Now, for Christ's sakes, woman, say your name. Trevor, translate it.
Jennifer.
Jennifer. Now, Jennifer, why in God's holy name, I ask you, are we not got great big bloody photos all over that website of us dancing?
Because I was away on an extended Christmas holiday last week. I didn't have time to take the pictures. I'm from the Russia place.
You're from Russia, you
Yes.
hateful, orthodox cow. That is all I can begin to say to you, Jennifer. Now, if next week when we go on that website there ain't great big pictures of all of us, fully nude, sometimes obviously aroused, we will see to it that you are dragged off the interweb, because I know the fellow what invented it. All right? Right. Now, we've got someone on the line. That person is called... What is this person called? Well... Who is it? Trish, are you there, Trish?
Yes, I am.
Are you all right, dear?
Yeah, I think I am. Yes, thank you.
It's good to say that you think you are, because you never know. There could be
No, you never know
countless...
what's around the corner, do you?
You don't know.
I'm keeping
What-
my fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed there's nothing around the corner. That's
Yeah.
all I'll say. But something might be. And if it was, we'll just deal with that when it happens.
Yeah.
And if there happened to be something's laid eggs in your shin bone, and even now they're gnawing their way into the tendons, you
No,
know,
I think I'm fairly safe on that one.
sure you are. But if they were, we'd deal with it.
I
when
know,
it happens.
I know.
Arrogant.
Matt thinks you're a bit arrogant with your old holier than thou, no, nothing's going to get my shins style attitude to life, much like a female Brian Clough.
Oh, I've never been called female Brian Clough before. I don't drink, so that's
well, then you have never lived, Trish.
No,
now, what is this problem that you claim to have, my darling?
Well, yeah, it's actually animal related, which sort of ties in a bit with the gnawing of the shins. In fact,
it does, doesn't it?
Yeah, we've got a very vicious rabbit who lives in the house. Well, we adopted him from the RSPCA and took pity on him. And
how's he repaid you?
Because he came from a dysfunctional rabbit family and was removed by RSPCA inspectors. We wanted to sort of...
That must have been embarrassing for everyone involved.
Yeah, I think it
rubber
was,
gloves,
especially for rabbit. Yes, but
what's his name? This little guy.
His name's Ralph.
Ralph.
We wanted to give him a noble name, not like sort of Fudge or Hopper or Harvey.
All those ignoble names. Mind you, Harvey is a good name for a rabbit, like that James Stewart thing.
Rabbit name, apparently.
You've done a lot of research, and yet your rabbit showing no gratitude. But
I know. And the thing is, he's developed two rather embarrassing conditions, which he's got piles, and
he's also
got suspected syphilis. So
syphilis and piles. What's he doing?
Not very good. Well, we don't actually know. We prefer not to ask him.
Let's get to the bottom of this, as it were.
I think we can guess what he's been up to.
Well, I have tried to slip him a leaflet from the STD clinic, but strangely enough, he didn't want to know. He chewed it up. But
what's wrong with him?
Well, I think
Trish, listen. Right, so he's got something up with his bumhole, and there's also he's got an STD. Is there anything else? I mean, not that those are problems enough.
Well, he's also got rather misshapen ears.
He sounds just...
I hate him.
I hate that little pig.
He's a stunner, this
Has he got human syphilis?
No, he's got rabbit syphilis. It was we reckon we like to think, or the vet likes to think, that it was transferred from his mother. But actually,
filthy little pervert. I'd like to think about that. A rabbit and its rabbit mum dressed in lingerie.
Don't go
doing
there.
it.
Come on.
But we like to think it's that way, other than other activities. Which
what would that mean?
That's
sex with a person.
Fine too.
Well,
with another rabbit.
Incestual relationship with his brothers or anything like that. You know, we don't like to think
it's
about.
It's like a Greek play. Your life.
I want to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Just let him go.
All right, now hold on. I've been perusing and reflecting on this problem, and let's think of some advice. One by one, we'll give you some advice. Now, Trish, it seems to me that rabbit is an ungrateful little fella.
He is.
And I think if you inspect closely, he sounds it, Trish. If you look at his paws, I bet his claws go straight up into his little rabbit wrists, don't they?
No, his claws are immaculately trimmed every month by me. I risk my life and my limbs in order to do this.
Have you got little brittle limbs?
Well, I've got little brittle... He went through my hand once and I ended up in hospital, so...
Jesus, this rabbit's more trouble than it's worth.
No, don't say that. Don't say the
He's
great
like the
old...
Dennis Nilsson of rabbits.
How do you mean he went through her hand?
Well, he just got my hand and it clung on, and then he wouldn't come away. You know when you pick them up and they're swinging by the teeth?
Swing your arm as fast as you can.
Just swing it, baby. Like Mick Shannon. I go woof.
Well,
I have it right around our record.
Yeah, well, I did try, but... Anyway, that involved a hospital trip.
Right.
But
I had a rabbit like this once, right? It was the school rabbit. Now, it was a proud day for me.
I've heard about that, yeah.
Well, listen, don't you cut me off, love. Come round there and I'll kill that rabbit. Right, she's undermined my story, hasn't she? How do you know about my school rabbit?
Well, you've told it many times, I think, haven't you?
Many times.
You said he's ungrateful.
Go on then, say something about it then.
No, I won't steal your thunder.
I don't want thunder. He was called Thumper, actually, though, so that's quite close.
Make up a new rabbit story.
All right, good idea, Matt, good idea. This rabbit I brought home, called Clive, the minute it got home, it had a huge, angry, bulbous...
Stop it.
Erection.
No.
Yes,
I don't want filth on the radio.
Huh?
Please.
What?
No filth on the radio. My daughter's listening. My daughter's listening.
Yeah, you brought up syphilis and rabbit piles.
Yeah, well, that's nasty.
Bring that rabbit in here. Is what I say.
We'll give it away as a prize.
We'll give it away right, that rabbit's ours now. We're giving him away as a prize.
Way.
If you want to win a rabbit, you simply have to get around Trish's house, kick the door in and kidnap the evil and grateful thing.
Nobody would want my poor rabbit, apart from me, of course.
Who would want it,
And I could make you some money as well into the bargain if you're interested.
You're going to kill that
shampoo
rabbit?
testers.
No, I'll contact the Korean embassy.
Why does the Korean embassy want rabbits?
Because there's a trend now with Koreans in Europe.
You don't know about Koreans.
There's in Germany. The Korean embassy is sending back rabbits to Korea from Germany, and I reckon
What do they want?
because they're very tasty.
Not with piles.
Don't tell them.
Not one with syphilis.
They don't eat that part of the rabbit, do they?
If he bit my hand, I'd pull his pile.
I tried doing that.
To release it.
You've got him all ends up. Trish, what we should... Anyway, you've not gone help yet.
No, I don't think I'm ever going to get the help.
No, go help.
Help.
Thank you. Now, what will we suggest? I do love all God's creatures, but this guy sounds unbearable to me.
He's blighted.
Blighted little character. I think duff him up real good.
I think send him back to his little rabbit shameless family.
No, I couldn't do that. I couldn't. I love him dearly.
Send him in. Bring him in here in a basket.
Oh, I will if you're not careful.
All right. Okay. Right, Trish, now we feel scared. So, Trish, what, you and that rabbit just try and look after each other. Oh, I know. Just cuddle it one day and cuddle it a bit too tight.
No. I know you're an animal lover, Russell. I know you love your Morrissey, so I can't imagine you would advise me to do things like that.
Yes, exactly.
All right, well, just try and be nice to it. Give it a bit of distance.
Do you talk to him?
I do. We have long chats, but he tends to sort of not listen to me.
Of course he doesn't. He doesn't understand. Right, now, Trish, thank you very much for your call. I suggest you put that rabbit in a shoebox and have nothing more to do with it. Now, let's have a listen to I Am a Rat by the Towers of London. Why, what's the problem with you? Oh, what, we've got to listen to Nas. Okay. Let's listen to Nas then.
Okay.
Listen to him, and then we'll listen to Towers of London.
But introduce Towers of London, and then we'll play Nas.
That'll baffle people. Towers of London coming up.
And the doors are closed
That's
shut.
Hip Hop is Dead, Nas. You listen to Russell Brand on BBC Radio 2. Steve Merchant's here. He's not in this room yet. I've just seen him sloping around in corridors and that. Did you see him, Matt?
Don't say sloping.
Why?
You might not like it.
Well, it's not an offensive term, all right. Meandering, then. Waltzing. Teetering.
All of those are not especially complimentary.
Well, I don't think they're...
Striding.
Striding, all right. He was striding purposefully past, he was. He really had something on his mind. He was off to the lavvy. It was as simple as that. OK, so what... right, now, last week on the show, when we were doing our item, Cry for Help, where we help people out for no reason other than altruism, there was a lovely gentleman called Pete who called us up. Now, Pete had a problem. His problem was he'd met a young lady, he'd got her number, he'd agreed to go on a date with her, then he'd forgotten her name. He was about to go on the date. He was very nervous about it. We, the people of this show, that's me, Russell, Cocky, Trevor, Lockie and Matt Morgan, found out the name of the woman by ringing her up. She was called Anita. We then tested Peter to see if he was worthy of going on this date by seeing if he could guess correctly her name when given 3 options. He failed 3 times, but we told him the name anyway, out of love. Now, Peter and Anita are on the line, on their date. It's presumably going well. Let's find out. Peter, are you well?
Yes, I am, Russell. How are you doing?
I'm ever so well, mate. Now, how's your date going?
Pretty good so far. We came into London on the train from Banbury.
Right.
We were going to go on the London Eye, but
Good
it's
choice.
closed for some reason.
That's a shame. They probably heard that you were coming and didn't want to be involved in this grisly date. The more we learned of it last week, the more it sounded like something we'll be reading about. No, Peter, how's the date going?
Pretty good. We've been to Claridge's. We've had pink champagne.
God.
Which is very nice.
Decadent.
Yeah, and then we went up the Hilton, up to the 28th floor, to the Windows of the World bar.
I never go on dates like this. I just drag people back to my parlour.
Is Anita with you, Peter?
And then at the moment we're just in the middle of a Thai meal.
Is Anita dead, Peter? Why are you not answering that question? Peter.
Yes.
Where's Anita?
She stood next to me. Do you want a word?
Yes.
Yes, bring her on.
All right, here's Anita now.
Anita?
Hello.
Oh, thank God. Anita, how's the date going?
Fantastic.
Anita, you need to run away.
Peter is a dangerous, dangerous man. We know him only too well. No, it's not. I hope it's going well. So you've been having pink champagne, have you?
Yes, I have. It's been lovely. I've only drank white champagne. I didn't realise there was pink champagne. It's like fantastic.
That man has opened doors to you, to another world. If I were you, I'd trust everything Peter says. If he says trying things that are a different colour from normal, give it a whirl. Anita, so do you think, have you been physical with each other? Have you held hands? Have you brushed thighs? Have you tenderly touched each other's hair or done any of them things where monkeys pick fleas off each other type stuff?
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
Thank
My
God.
friend-
Have you touched each other?
Don't say. What, held hands?
Anita! Oh, God, he struck her. Oh, God. Right, get the police, she's dead.
You know that certain drugs that you put in drinks change the colour of the
Why
drinks?
do you know things like that?
I read about it.
Oh, Matthew, come on. Right, Peter and Anita, we've lost contact with them. Let's pray to God that the worst hasn't happened. I like to think Peter and Nita are hand in hand, happy now.
I think he slapped that phone out of her hand like an angry gorilla.
I think Anita's now lifeless in Peter's arms like that, and he was using her like a puppet then, sort of like rattling her skull about, and all her eyes lolling.
He's done a good day though, because he was saying, "Oh, where should I take her?"
Yeah, he was going to go to Banbury, a harvester or something.
Brought her into London, tried to go on the London Eye. Tiny
Claridge's.
pink champagne.
Christ, they're living an eye old life, aren't they? I'm beginning to hope that their date goes horribly wrong.
Yeah.
I'm jealous. I'm jealous of their date. That's a nice date. Perhaps we all go on dates like that.
Yeah.
With each other, or
Let's
should
do
we
it.
invite
Let's do
girls?
it next week.
I go on dates.
You don't go on dates like that, Matt.
I do. I have done.
Dragging people around some grisly little
You
flea
just
pit in
text
North
people your
London.
address.
You sick, horrible man. I'm perhaps what the.
Send me a photo. Lovely, right, here's the address.
Pop over.
You're a journalist, now it doesn't matter.
Just write it out well. Not too much alliteration. Yeah, no, okay, listen, that's not true or fair, all right. I'm a changed man, I am. So, okay, let's listen to a bit of the old, what I likes to call music. And then, what we got to do? Steve Merchant's here. Noel Gallagher's not answering his phone. He must be on holiday because it's got that funny sort of ring. And then it sort of is answered by someone sort of going, "Oh, no, not here. Very sorry." So, yeah, so we'll talk to Steve Merchant. That'd be brilliant. I told Rhys Shearsmith, I spoke to Rhys Shearsmith out of League of Gentlemen, who was another proposed guest, that goes, "Oh, last week, Rhys, we were going out," like I was going,
Did
"Oh,
you tell him because you thought you might find out or have been listening and been
you
offended?"
cynical man."
You
What I
silly
told him
little
was,
man.
people who are listening for the first time now and won't even know what we're discussing. I go to him, "Rhys, what happened was, I was going, oh, we're having some good guests on the show. Rhys Shearsmith might come on." And then I was part of them. What happened in reality last week is I was passed a bit of paper that said, "Steve Merchant is coming on the show." So this is how it went. It went, "Yep, next week we might have Rhys Shearsmith on the show." "Steve Merchant's coming! Yes!" Like that. And then Matt goes, "That is going to hurt Rhys Shearsmith's feelings because you've just, like, sandpapered
So
him away."
then you foolishly phoned him up thinking, he might have listened. I'll make this better. I'll phone him up.
Is it probably best that I do a little courtesy call to Rhys? I wouldn't like to hurt his feelings. Well, he's all right anyway. He didn't mind.
Is he?
Actually, there was a bit of an atmosphere around that bit of the phone call. I think I've upset him.
Oh, God.
Steve Merchant's going to be on the show in a minute. Let's have a listen to Towers of London. And
No,
we'll
stop saying that. Do you want that?
Oh, all right. Well,
I keep telling you what we've got.
I just thought it'd be good at some point if we sat and judged Towers of London on the actual music. and
What,
that.
so, oh, God. What are you saying?
Matthew,
Let's
what
go
are you
back
doing
to
this computer.
It was all set up, and then you keep saying Towers of London like some Tourettic outburst
Well, what on
every time.
Beautiful, because he's called Donny Tourette, so it's
Not
in a way
really,
it's
though, is it?
destiny.
It's not his real name.
No, well, I don't know,
He's
Trevor. I
a
don't
silly
like
man.
to inquire. Come on, so we listen to Roy Orbison.
Roy Orbison.
And then Towers of London.
Yes.
Steve Merchant's coming up. That's Roy Orbison, make me feel bloody emotional. It's lovely, though,
Nice.
isn't it? Yeah, beautiful,
Set up
full
blue
of
velvet.
pathos and poignance.
Do you know what Elvis said about him?
Go on.
He said Elvis Presley said Roy Orbison has the most beautiful voice of any man.
Right, really, that's what Elvis said.
That's
I mean,
what
no, but
Elvis
Elvis
Presley
is the
said.
greatest rock and roll star's ever been. We don't even have to trust him and everything. He said some crazy stuff.
But he was talking about singing, and that's what he did.
Yeah,
quite
what
well.
about that thing where he goes, "It's great head, man. She gave me great head," in the documentary?
Well, she might have done.
Fair enough. Let's trust old Elvis then. He's a lovely fella. So, remember Trevor earlier on, you were coming up with some rhubarb about coal being delivered as a child. Trevor quite casually mentioned, "Oh, that reminds me of the coal man that used to come around my house. He was called Mr. Yates." We all pointed out that we live in the modern era. We've got an email here. It says, "Dear Russell, Matt and Trevor," this is from Georgia, who lives in Northampton, so he's perfectly positioned to expose liars from that area. "I'm in Northampton at the moment, and I just asked my dad about the coal dispensers. He doesn't think it exists. Then I did a search on the Yellow Pages website, and nothing came up. Not even on Google. I think Trevor's concussion has returned, or even damaged his memory, and tricked him into making a fake coal dispenser up out of his brain. Either that, or he's just a liar who should not be trusted, certainly not allowed to broadcast on Radio 2. A disillusioned teenage girl from Northampton called Georgia."
Georgia,
Well done,
really?
Trevor.
I mean, how stupid are you?
Trevor!
I was a little boy in the 1980s.
You were a
What
little
are the
girl
chances?
in the 80s. Daft little sod you were in your nightie with your ghoulies peeping out underneath, prancing around with a wand.
Well, it was another era. When I was a little girl, we had coalmen in the village of Flor. There was a coalman. He was called Mr. Yates. He's not a coalman anymore. He retired in 1988, and no one carried on
Why
the
didn't you
family
mention
business.
that
Why do you
earlier?
know his name? My nan had a coal man.
Well, I bet she knew his name as well. He
No,
wasn't
just a coal man.
Well, we
Came
got
through a sack of coal down a chute.
Well, we lived down the bottom of our road,
supposed
didn't
to
he?
be hot thrusting, dangerous young broadcasters. We're prattling on about coalmen and each other's nans.
Only 'cause
What's
he's
going
dressed
on?
like a coalman.
Now, someone say something reckless. I'll do it. Right, now.
I know what we talked
what?
about,
Go
that
on.
Nazi ballerina.
Right, that Nazi ballerina. Let's find
I
out.
think she should not get sacked.
She should be allowed to be a Nazi ballerina.
She shouldn't be vilified for your beliefs, no matter what they are.
What if you believe that it's all right to lactate breast milk into the face of strangers?
That's fine.
I do believe that's all right.
You've got a video, in fact.
That'll be on the island. Look, listen what it says. This ballet dancing bird has been booed. 15 seconds of disruption by activists. 30 members of right-wing party among audience. Here's a story from The Guardian, I think, today. The look of concentration on Simone Clarke's face suggested that the small but persistent group of protesters who jumped to their feet near the start of the English National Ballet's performance of Giselle. I don't know about ballet.
Well,
Yesterday
you
afternoon,
do, 'cause you did it at school, didn't you?
Actually, I had to do it for a while, but I pretty soon gave that up because I was working with Snoop Doggy Dogg selling crack. And it was actually a very difficult line of work that prohibited a lot of my ballet. The usual matinee mix of pensioners and school children have been joined at the London Coliseum by ballet, blah, 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 blah. She's in the BNP, she does ballet dancing. All right, I think should there be a BNP at all?
I think, no, there
Freedom of
shouldn't be.
speech, let people do what they want. She's a ballerina.
The right to sing, is to scream fire in a crowded theatre, that's the argument.
It's not like she's dancing in a racist way. And all
She
the
might
other-
be doing racist dances, Matt.
It's not.
What if she's wearing big jack boots and strutting across the stage, Sieg Heiling her way through Swan Lake?
That could happen, but I don't think that's what
She's not doing that. I think it's brilliant. The idea
Of a racist ballerina.
It's absolutely fantastic. It's art in itself. I want to go and see that ballet even more now because I will be getting 2 performances for the price of 1.
You're getting racism and ballet all rolled into one lovely
I don't want
ballet
that
package.
I just find the idea of a racist ballerina just absurd. It's
I'm a
sort of-
racist ballerina. Why would you be a racist ballerina? All that nimble dancing around, do you think it would put you in touch with something spiritual?
Maybe she's a bit simple and she's been hired by the BNP to soften their image. She's a bit like...
Right,
leaden.
what do we need? We need some trollop what does ballet. That'll make us seem softer.
Perhaps that is it, yeah.
Yeah, she probably doesn't know what it stands
She
for. She
doesn't know
thinks it
what
means the Ballet National Party or something. Yeah.
Ballet, nice people. I reckon she thought it was. She's got all swept up in the ballet, nice people party. Little does she know, she's damning folks who are coming from countries where things are going terribly wrong. Well, anyway, I think if you are like a member of BNP and that, I think your rights should be all messed with. Do you remember when we used to know that racist lad, Mark Collette, out of the BNP? We went and met him. They were twerps.
That's why you don't need to mess with their rights.
Exactly.
Not going to achieve
They are
anything.
twerps. They won't get anywhere. They're all twerps.
Yeah.
We've met some of them. Mark Collette, he's been promoted, actually. He's doing well in the
Well, he was in the
BNP.
youth BNP when we met him.
Now he's grown up.
He's grown up now. He's in the big boys BNP.
Proper BNP. You could be racist to adults now. Yeah, well, I'm against the old racism.
Don't even talk about it now.
Don't give it the time.
Don't
Let's
give
starve
it
it
the
of
time.
oxygen.
Don't give it the time.
Don't give them the bloody satisfaction, them filthy racists. All right, then, so why don't we listen to a bit of the old Towers of London or something?
Yes, finally.
Finally, let's get it done. Then we can make a informed judgment. I know a couple of them lads. They seem like sweet boys and they're a laugh. Let's have a listen to their song, see what it's like. There go them Towers of London.
Rubbish.
I'm a rat. Matt don't like it.
Awful.
Oh, I think they're nice lads.
Going out, yeah, on a Saturday night.
Matthew! It's wrong to do that. Steve Merchant's here, everyone. Look, it's actual Steve Merchant. Contrive some bloody atmosphere, you layabout.
It's natural.
Welcome, Steve.
Hey,
Welcome.
thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming on our radio programme.
No, I appreciate it. I've got nothing better to do on a Saturday night. It's
That
20 to
is
11.
evident in your every
Yeah,
motion.
exactly. Thank you very much.
You have the very air of a man who on a Saturday night might as well come in here, lumber about in the corridor for a while.
I wasn't lumbering. I was, as you rightly pointed out, popping to the lavatory. Nothing wrong with that.
Sorry,
I've been listening to this show out there, and it's how are they letting you get away with this on Radio 2?
What have we done wrong?
No, it's not. It's a great show. I genuinely love the show, but it's just. I mean, you were playing Naz early on Radio 2.
We likes him,
but don't they still have the organist presents or whatever on radio? I mean, some of the other programmes. Does it sit well with
Radio 2 now?
I know it's much hipper than it used to be. Aren't you a little bit too hip for it?
I don't think so. I think I'm exactly the right amount. Look at us, like, really, all right, we've got nice hairdos, but we're sensitive boys.
No, I'm very much aware of that, but I mean, listening to it, it sort of sounds like a kind of community radio project. Sort of ne'er-do-wells to kind of keep you on the straight and narrow, you know. Stay off the smack, lads. Do a radio show.
We have been off smack since the beginning of this show.
No, I know, it's working.
I've had a little bit of smack during the news. Got Andrea Simmons, sometimes she's erotic, that newsreader. This is not like a community radio project.
Well, look at the mess in here, it's like a squat.
That's atmosphere, what you're condemning, Merchant. Lovely bit of atmosphere.
Yeah.
All over the gaff. Well, what will it be like when you're on Six Music, your new show that starts tomorrow?
It's going to be much more civilised. We'll be wearing dinner suits like they used to in olden times, in the early days of the BBC, and it'll be very sophisticated. It's Sunday, you know, so it's God's Day, so we have to be a bit more dignified and respectful.
I reckon it'll be all prim, like you're in a little gingerbread cottage.
Exactly, that's exactly what it'll be like.
Sat up with your knees too close to your chin. I've got some research here about you.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Steve Merchant. These are some things that we may all this research I know already. He begins the weekly show on Six Music. You once appeared on Blockbusters. Right, did you?
Yes, I did once appear on Blockbusters.
How did you get on?
My friend had been on Blockbusters when he was very young, and he'd been on the original Bob Holness version with the teenagers, and he told me that it was just an amazingly wild, decadent time in the hotel. All these 16-year-olds off their heads going berserk. You know, I'm seriously, I mean, like, you know, I'm probably going to get into trouble, but, you know, drink, drugs, everything, crazy.
On Blockbusters?
It's sex. You know, well, it was you know, not Holness. Obviously,
Holness was above all that.
He was in bed, but every in his own bed.
You say that. We don't. I mean,
I don't can even begin to question what Holness is
I'd
doing.
like to speculate for a while what Bob Holness was up to.
Yeah. Well, I don't think you can you on Radio 2?
I think he was probably probing.
Be careful. Be careful.
Bob Holness is good as gold. I can't imagine he took advantage of any of them Blockbusters competitors, could he? It's not the nature of the contest. He'd have just been professionally, probably in another hotel even.
Exactly.
But one of them, your mate said, was decadent and a lot of muck went on.
No, all the contestants, because they were obviously, if you remember, they were
Why
sort
were
of
there so
teenagers.
many? I thought it was just a couple of people on it.
No, because they record loads of shows in a week. You know, so they're all in this hotel, you know, and they're just having to hang around for, you know, weeks on end until they have to get their chance to go on. And if they're doing well, they get to come back. So anyway, I thought this sounded amazing. So when I was a bit older, I was working for a magazine, I thought, I got to do this. And they brought the show back. You may not remember this. They brought it back on BBC Two with Michael Aspel.
Right, okay.
And I thought, this is going to be wild. This is going to be extreme.
Aspel.
Aspel.
Christ.
That word alone conjures up, you know, images of, you know, Sodom and Gomorrah.
Immediately you're there in a sort of sexual Kubla Khan
Exactly,
with Aspel with his red book of erotica.
Yeah, yeah. So, got down there and they changed the rules and no longer was it teenagers. It was kind of elderly people. They'd scrapped the hand jive they used to do at the end of the week.
Hand jive's gone.
The novelty toys, all that stuff. You remember the hand jive?
Yeah.
Those are some of the best
And it was one of the most...
The mascots. The little mascots.
Yeah, exactly. It was
all
one of the most
gone.
interminable weeks I spent, and I had to be up there for ages. And I got on the show, and first 3 questions I got right, 15 quid already in the bank. I'm thinking I'm doing brilliant here.
Right.
I'm on the way, you know, for a holiday.
Yeah.
Didn't get another question right.
Oh,
it was
dear.
pitiful. It was so painful. When they sent me the cheque for £15, a piece of it was missing, as though they'd torn it out of the cheque with such contempt that they hadn't even cared. You know what I mean? It was just...
Take your 15 quid!
Exactly.
Oh,
it was
that's
agonising.
Is that why there's a bit in The Office where people talk about Blockbusters?
I think that's probably it. It was a sort of an exorcism.
Yeah, it informs your later scripts and later work.
Have I given you a fascinating insight there into the world of TV game shows?
Very much so, yeah. I mean, before then, I thought it would have been perhaps a professional domain with Bob Holness soberly smoking a pipe and the contestants perhaps rehearsing their performance and revising and stuff.
No, apparently it was
a giddy
backstage at a Motley Crue.
Horrible affair, it sounds like, Steve.
Apparently Holness used to check his nostrils before he went on with a mirror.
Really?
So it was anything
Really?
unsightly, you know.
Can I have an E, please, Bob, etc.
Etc.
Yeah.
Right. No, not for drugs, Matt.
Why?
Holness weren't looking up his nose to see if there was coke hanging out of his nostrils.
You've been hanging around in this environment too long, you see. You hear a mirror in a nose, that's the first thing you
nasal
think.
hairs!
Well, mirror, nostril, come on.
Mirror, nostril, Holness, coke. No, Matt, that's the way to get us thrown off air. Bob Holness
What
is
was
a
he
great
looking for?
avuncular
Hairs?
figure. Yeah, he's looking for nasal hairs. And, you know...
Horrible man.
What's wrong with that? He's a lovely figure. Let's defend him. Bob Holness
Yeah,
is
no, I think he's obviously a dynamite guy. He was apparently the first James Bond, wasn't he?
first James Bond, and you undermine him.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't.
He was on radio or
On
something.
radio he was, yeah.
He was on radio.
Oh, right, on radio.
Why did they
Check your
sack him?
facts. Drugs.
They sacked him.
Sacked him because of drugs. He was interfering with Miss Moneypenny. He got out of control. It was terrible business, apparently. No, he didn't get sacked. They just moved on, Matt, to Niven and others. You know.
No, I'm talking about Aspel. Aspel took his job.
Oh, what, on Blockbusters?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, that probably...
That was
No, the chemistry wasn't there, I'm not going to lie to you. Even I went on there, I tried my best, but we just couldn't get the old magic back, and he got...
That is a pity. It very much was a show defined by Bob, and Aspel, in a way, didn't have a chance from the beginning, did he? Poor fella. Right, so, some people want to
Anyway,
ask
we've
you-
answered one of the points you've got on your
Look,
sheet.
it's not that... All right. He's an executive producer, is Steve Merchant, for the American version of The Office, which stars Steve Carroll. Do you stick your oar in, or do you just let him go on with it?
Very occasionally, I might throw a few words in your
What,
words
like?
of wisdom. You know, I don't want to mention it. I don't want you to see behind the curtain.
Because we made a mistake like that earlier. We seem to be unprofessional on this radio show.
Go on. You surprised me. What happened?
Matt endorsed the BNP. Said that they're just doing a difficult job and they're a nice bunch of guys. They didn't say that. I don't know, we just pressed the wrong button and we went into the news, shouting to the news reader, "Say bum!" Which, you know, in a way, is
it's classy.
It's very classy way.
Stolen all of that from Wogan.
This is Wogan's studio, and I like to think his aura informs almost every word uttered in
I
this.
don't understand. This is not disrespecting Wogan, because I know he's much loved and I adore him, but I don't understand a word he's saying on that radio show.
Really?
I can't understand what he's talking about, because he doesn't seem to segue. He doesn't make it clear when he's reading a letter or when he's just talking. So he'll just be on there and he'll just be, you know, whilst holidaying in the Maldives. What? You know, bicycle riding with my husband. What? Terry? What?
Terry, what?
I don't know what's going on. Is he having a breakdown? I remember there was a spoof of it once on, I think it was Alistair McGowan's impression show, where he did him as a character in a Samuel Beckett play. And I think that's so exactly right. It is like some sort of weird stream of consciousness, isn't
But
it?
I think he does that on purpose. I'm sure he's thought about that, because he's broadcasting people who are just waking up. So I think he's thinking it's difficult for them to concentrate. It's better if he reads
playing mind games with
I think
people of Britain.
he makes deliberate choice, and it's lovely to wake up to, because it's like a dream. It's like you're listening to someone else's dream.
Don't Wogan. But thinking about it, the way he does Eurovision suggests that perhaps he is playing with the medium.
He's an ironic genius.
He's an ironic genius. Perhaps, Steve, you've stumbled upon something here.
Oh, he's definitely an ironic genius. There's no doubt.
There's something going on. I can feel it in these these walls are dripping with ironic genius. Listen, why don't we listen to a record? We'll come back. There's people want to ask you all sorts of questions. Do you want me to do more this research?
You
stuff?
do whatever you want to do, mate. It's up to you, mate.
Stephen's
it's your show.
Cameo
It's your special
Rose. It is. This is us doing our best. Look, you were in Green Wing. You were in 24.
I'm
Are you?
24, that's right, yeah.
You're all right at that?
It's I would like to think it was a cameo. It's a bit part. I'm an extra, essentially.
extra
I know
in
some
that.
of the guys over there.
Fine.
And they asked me to react to the word Jack Bauer.
How
Someone
did you
mentions
react
Jack
to it?
Bauer, and I tried to convey that. I've not heard that name in a while.
Right.
But I don't know if you'll see that in the final cut, because I'm just in the background. Yeah.
But like, Jack Bauer, he's a ghost from the past.
Exactly, yeah.
Right, and he did that. Could you just, for us, obviously, I'll try and describe to the listeners what that face is like.
Yeah.
I'll say Jack Bauer. Yeah. Oh, you know, we'll probably have to get Jack Bauer out of Nick.
Well, hang on. I was sort of looking down at some paperwork.
Right, you're looking down at paper. Yeah. I'm just some sort of faceless...
just a drone.
I'm a drone.
Yeah.
It's going to be a struggle for me to play this part because of the charisma, but I'll push on.
Try your best.
Right, yeah, bloody old Jack Bauer, he's been that Chinese Nick. We'll have to get him out. What are you thinking about, Merchant?
I was thinking about Jack Bauer. I've not heard that name in a while.
Oh, it was what he just conveyed that brilliantly with acting. It was excellent. It was really good.
Wasn't it?
Totally, that's what I got. I looked at him, I thought, he's not heard the name Jack Bauer in a while.
Yeah.
He's hearing it now, though,
Exactly.
and he's acknowledging it.
Yeah.
All right, let's listen to a record. Then we've got some people. They're going to quiz you.
Yeah.
Let's listen to the Chinese song by the Ping Pong Bitches.
Brilliant.
Why wouldn't we? Come on, let's have a listen. That's Ping Pong Bitches Chinese song. Why you got that look on your face, Matthew?
Gone rubbish.
It's nice.
Started off all right.
I liked it. What's gone wrong? The song?
The song, yeah.
I really like her. I know her. She's called Louise. Right, Steve Merchant. That's not
Ringing
not good enough, is
endorsement.
it? I know her. She's called Louise. Did you like that song,
Not
Steve
particularly,
Merchant? Why? What have you got against
I
it?
just wasn't paying attention.
Right, it's a hateful attack inspired by nothing. We were talking about that BNP ballet dancer. Do you agree with allowing BNP ballet dancers, or should they be made to believe in nice stuff?
I fear that you've confused. I don't think she's trying to express her views through
She is,
medium
Steve.
ballet, is she?
Yeah, she keeps kicking
I once
swastikas
had a
at the
run-in with
audience.
the Combat 18.
What are they
which I
like?
believe was there's an offshoot of the BNP.
That's right, yeah,
a more
they're-
extreme version. And when I was young, I was at a party once, and I took to phoning up phone boxes, you know, late at night, and we would all gather around the phone and hear whichever oddball answered the phone.
Right.
And a guy answered it, and I said, "Oh, hello there," and I made some crack. And he said, "Oh, you've messed with the wrong bloke, mate. I'm Combat 18." And I thought this was inspired. I said, "What are you doing in a phone box in the middle of the night? Are you having your annual meeting?" I thought that was like
Nice
proper
line.
satire. Do you know
Good,
what I mean?
that is, because he's just on his own in a phone box. Brilliant joke.
Yeah, it works on so many levels.
Loads.
And he just said, you don't know what you were messing with, mate. I'm Combat 18. And he started swearing and all cursing and stuff. And I got a little bit panicked, hung up. Of course, I wasn't calling from my phone. I was calling from someone else's at someone else's house.
Of course.
And of course, he 1471.
1471 from Combat 18.
Exactly.
So many numbers. Fearsome.
Exactly.
Was it just a
And,
boast, or was it really?
Well, he started saying various threatening things, which
It's a
certainly.
weird thing to sort of immediately say, like, right, I want you to know I'm racist. You could have gone, well, I'm a nice, tall, blonde,
Yeah.
blue-eyed fella. I'm lovely. You won't have any problem with me.
Yeah,
They'll probably make me president.
And he carried on phoning back. We'd hung up and he'd phone back again. And of course, I never mentioned this to the owner of the house.
Oh.
So I just scuttled off. I've had a bit too much to drink. I'm going to head home, I think. And I don't know what happened. I don't know whether the house is still there, whether it's firebombed or what. But
I've made you a target for racists now. I'm probably going to carry on with my own life.
yeah, I'm going to see us, lovely party though. Great barbecue.
Really enjoyed it. Oh, we had a laugh, didn't we? Well, best of luck. Best of luck. It's a cruel, cruel world. Oh, Steve Merchant. We've got some people, right, that want to quiz you about your feelings, your thoughts, your views, stuff like that. Are you prepared to participate in that, Steve?
I guess so.
You seem like quite an amiable, if not malleable man.
Thank you.
So let's get the first person who wants to quiz you is called Joy. Joy, are you here, dear?
I am. Hello, I'm calling from Boston.
Good.
Yeah.
Thanks for calling us all the way from Boston. It's kind
Thank
of you. Do you like our radio programme?
I like it. I listen to it online.
It's very kind of you to do that. Now, Steve Merchant is here.
Hi, Steve Merchant.
Hello, Joy.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes, you should be excited.
I am
Have you just
excited.
fallen off a chair?
Well, I'm a very big fan of your work.
Thank you.
But I'm also a very big fan of you in general.
Uh-huh.
And
what beyond his work are you a
fan
fan of? What beyond his work, right? Do you know what do you like that he's long?
No, well, okay, I'm 4'11".
Right.
So
you admire his height.
It's not going to happen, but I do really like you, Steve. I think you're very talented.
You shouldn't be looking at this as a sex service.
You should give yourself more credit, Stephen.
Thank you very much, Joy.
Well, we don't know how much credit he gives himself. I see his name daubed all over everything he's involved in.
That's true. Well, here's my thing. I am old, getting on in years.
How old are you?
Well, this year that it's 2007, I'm going to turn 30.
That's not old.
That's not old.
Better not be.
This is Radio 2. The average listener can't even switch off this filth even as they want to. They have to hit the radio with their canes.
We've got a young, thrusting audience.
I'm sorry.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Well, so I am thinking about packing up my life and moving to London.
Okay.
And I need your help. I need your advice. I don't know what to do. It means leaving my whole family, leaving my life. But I'm intrigued by the idea.
The best person to
I'd
ask
like
about
to know
this
what's so good about London.
is Steve Merchant. Steve, what should this woman, Joy, do?
Well, I think it's very important that we first discover what Joy does and what she hopes to do in London. I mean, what do you do for a living, Joy?
I am you call it university, we call it college, resident director, so I work with college students. I live in a dorm with college students.
Right. And what do you hope to gain from travelling here to London? You'll be homeless.
That is a step down the social scale.
That seems foolish. I don't think you've thought this through, Joy. You've spent all the money on the plane ticket. You've not even thought about accommodation. It's madness.
I know.
Because, I don't want to prejudge anyone, but a college professor is a better job than a tramp.
No, not a professor.
Definitely. Marginally.
No, I'm not a professor.
Not a professor. What is it that you do?
I'm in charge of the dormitory, so I live in the dorm.
You've got free accommodation at the moment.
Yeah.
Really, though, there's only a wafer-thin line between you and homelessness now, isn't it, really?
True.
Is she coming?
I'm coming to London on Thursday, actually. Next week.
Right. I might be busy next Thursday, Joy, if truth be told. I mean, I don't want to, you sound like a very sweet woman, but if a woman phones up from Boston at 11 o'clock at night and says she's coming next Thursday,
no, it's 6 o'clock.
It sounds like you're expecting maybe to hook up and have a lovely cup of coffee.
Well, sure. Is that an invitation?
Be nice if you made an effort, Steve.
You'll look funny together.
I don't want to seem rude to Joy, but there's always that slight nervousness, isn't there? That
she could be
a sort of killer.
Could be a Combat 18 member at this stage. We've not aroused her anger.
Could you maybe hang out with Russell first and let him get the measure of you? I mean, this guy's he'll happily accept you, even if you are a lunatic and a maniac. That would just be thrilling to him.
Absolutely.
I like that. I like the idea of a loony from overseas turning up, slapped down in the middle of my life. That'd
you
be
could
nice.
probably crash out at his place, I imagine.
I don't see that being a problem.
The empty red wine bottles and...
You've solved so many of my problems. Hey, speaking of loonies, I have to say hi to all of the people on pilkapedia.co.uk forum. They listen to your show, Russell. Stephen, we're all going to listen tomorrow. We're really excited about your new show. Good luck.
Joy, thank you very much. You have been a lovely contributor to our show.
Best, Joy.
And Steve will meet you next Thursday. We'll pass his details on to you immediately you're off air. But there goes old Joy, the best damn American dormitory mistress we've ever had on this show.
Indeed.
I think you were quite helpful to her. Do you
I don't feel I've helped sufficiently.
Not
but
really.
I just wonder if she's thought it through, Russell. Is
she moving here just to see you?
I think that was the main motivation.
If she's, I mean, I don't. But if she's, what did she say? What, 4 foot? What?
She's a tiny woman.
She could probably fit in one of my shoes. In one of my shoes.
You won't know she's here.
No,
that's the occasional erratic decision being made from near your shin.
Exactly.
The only time you register her.
What's that you've got in that jiffy bag? It's Joy.
Lovely gal she's turned out to be. Right, okay, this radio programme's nearly an end. So what time tomorrow are you on 6 Music, Steve Merchant?
3 o'clock.
And will you have any special phone calls to anyone?
Wouldn't have thought so.
Come on, Steve!
It's true, I did just ask Russell if he would contribute to the radio show
So
tomorrow.
imagine
He's a
that.
broadcasting, experienced broadcaster now, and
I know how to do a broadcast, so if nothing else, and probably nothing else, it'll be worth tuning in just for that 5 minutes. That'll be lovely. Okay, this radio programme's nearly over. Noel Gallagher never turned up, did he? As usual. Oh no, we phoned him, he's off on holiday. We wish him well. Right, now the Poet Laureate of the show, Mr G, likes to summarise our show in the form of a poem. Here he comes. Welcome him with bonhomie that we can try now.
This is the journey. All aboard the night train, as we trundle off down the tracks of the ridiculous and the strange. First stop, Lockstown, where wild Trevors are all abound. If you put your ear to the ground, you can hear coal dispensers all around. Next up, we have the mysterious Matlands, where the infamous bicycle man stands, and the study of holding mouldy folders seems to attract kids and their old nans. Last stop, Rusmenistan. Cry for help if you can, where vicious rabbits and equal rights ballet inhabit the land. It's now the end of the journey, so I, Mr. G, get my whistle out as I have to shout, all change, please.
That was summarising this programme, what we have just done there. That's all nice now. Well, it's been a good programme, ain't it? Matt, have you enjoyed doing this programme?
Loved it.
It's been really good, isn't it? We've helped people, we've given good advice. There's this couple, Pete and Anita, we've helped them get together. They didn't even know each other a couple of weeks ago. It's lovely, they're getting on really well now, although actually the phone did chillingly go off during the interview.
Are you going to have to buy a hat, Russell?
I think there might be a hat, but I think it'll be a black pallbearer's hat for the funeral of Anita. So, Trevor, have you enjoyed this show?
I have, yeah.
It's been lovely, hasn't it?
It's been great, and thanks, Claire, for that calendar that
Thanks,
she's
some
done
good
of
girl
us.
made us a calendar.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Very sweet.
It's a lovely calendar. Thank you for sending us that. Thanks to everybody who's been involved in this programme. Now, we'll have a little bit of the old newsy poos now with Andrea Simmons. We like to get a word. We like to get a word forced into the news, Steve. Can you think of a word? And then she'll say it, and then when you listen to the news, you think, bloody hell, we've influenced the news.
The immediate word I think of is I once decided it would be fun to have a nickname.
Yeah.
And I said to my friend Phil Williams, I tell you, Phil, everyone's calling me Spud nowadays.
Spud?
So what about Spud?
Spud. Andrea, can you get that into the bloody old news? Okay, well, thank you, Steve Merchant. You've been a wonderful guest. Thank you, G, for your poetry. Thank you all. We'll be back next week. Listen to our podcast. We're trying to get to #1 in front of people like Steve Merchant and Ricky Gervais. There, like a colossus, scuttle about at their feet we do, like joy in a jiffy bag. This is Russell Brand. It's 88 to 91 FM, Radio 2 from the BBC. Here is the news.